Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dabs, and today I'm bringing something different. I'm bringing a story time video. So I saw a few story time videos on YouTube and I was like, that would be an interesting way to share some of my experiences as an entrepreneur, as a mom, as a business owner, as a as a human being, and some interesting lessons that my audience can pick from. So today's story is about the manager from hell. Well, okay, I don't want to be too dramatic and say, oh, from hell, but I'm just going to share this story with you guys and you make your own conclusion, because man, this lady put me through a lot. So this particular story starts out like I would say maybe 1 year into me owning my space, my salon space in Lagos. I actually started out as a beauty supply type store for hair products, and then I had some pressure from clients to have a space for hair. So I went online to find my staff. I basically wanted a manager who could come in and be in charge of the runnings of the space. Also someone who knew how to make hair, so a hairstylist. So this lady came, and at the beginning she was very hands-on, very involved, hardworking, helping me with anything that I needed, very teachable. So what I didn't want was someone who was not teachable, someone who I would have to convince to do things the way I do things, because I did things differently. I do things differently. So she came and she was teachable for the most part. But on this particular day, I was at work. So I had a 9 to 5. So I'd be, well, it was more like a 9 to 2. I'd be at work from 9 till 2, and from 2 o'clock I'll come to my business. And so that day, it must have been like 12 noon. I got a message from a client. She's like, I'm alone in your salon. There's no one attending to me. The person attending to me left my hair, said she was gonna get drugs, and she's coming back. It's been about 30 minutes. She hasn't come back yet. I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. So I immediately called the girl, the manager, and she wasn't picking up her calls. So I was like, what's going on? This is 12 noon. I can't leave my office till 2 o'clock. What am I going to do? So I mean, she was alone in the whole store, meaning if she wanted to be a bad client and steal all my hair products and walk out of there, she could have done it. She could have done it. And this girl didn't care. She just left somebody alone and went to so I used to have someone, she was like my social media assistant type of person, and she didn't used to work every day. So on the days she wasn't working, it would just be the manager in the store. So that's why that client was alone on that particular day. So I started to try to call my staff. She wasn't picking. So I called the customer and I'm like trying to make sure that she was not getting upset. I was so apologetic. I was like, I'm trying to be there as soon as possible. I was just telling her that I'm trying to reach her. She's not picking, but I'm going to start coming. I was just really trying to manage the whole situation. And luckily for me, because I've met some clients that will go berserk, but luckily for me that day, that particular client, she had the patience of Job. So she was like, I'm just gonna wait. Yeah, I see you're trying. Of course, at that time I've left so many missed calls on my staff's phone. She's not picking her calls. I've sent her messages. It's gone from what's happening to threats like you will lose your job. I was livid. She was still not answering. She didn't reply one text message. So it must have been like 1:30 or so. I just had to tell, like the way I was even acting, they were like, what's going on? I was like, I don't even want to burden anybody right here. So I think I just told my boss that I needed to leave, please, and she allowed me. So I left, and let me tell you, one of the things that you need to do as a business owner is you need to know the skill set of what your offerings are, so that when you're screwed over like this, you can get into the driver's seat and take charge. Because the lady came in for a crochet hairstyle, and if I did not know how to install crochet, it would have been just like a whole mess up, like complete disgrace. But because I already know how to do crochet, what are you saying? I'm even the one that taught my stylist how to do it. So because I already had the skill set, I was able to quickly get there. So when I got there, at that point, it must have been like 2 o'clock because of Lagos traffic, or even past 2 o'clock, and she was sitting down patiently. I was just stunned. Like, I have the utmost respect for her. I only met her that one time, never met her again, but I have come across her on like socials, and I'm just like, wow, this lady is just amazing. So of course, when I got in, I was very apologetic. She was like, yeah, that she's even sorry for me, that how can somebody just do this, just stand up and go and not come back, leave this total stranger in a business. What kind of person is this? My staff had still not picked up her call. She had still not replied any text messages at this time. So finally, I just started doing the hair. We were done like about 4 o'clock. Guess who strolls in? At 4 o'clock. Guess who strolls in? Not only does she stroll in, she strolls in like this. The full theatrics. I could not keep standing. I could not keep standing. I could not breathe. I'm just looking at her. I'm stunned. Me and the client were just like this looking at her. Because that client was about to leave when she walked in. She did not apologize. She did not feel like there was no remorse. She just came in like she's the victim and we're victimizing her. She was just like, oh. I was like, wow. So why didn't you pick your call? Excuses. She didn't even have any reason. Then the one that just blew me and my client off, like we just wanted to blow and fall down and just be like, okay, you've done it, was when she said, madams, both addressing us, please, health is wealth. Health is wealth. We just looked at her. Not an apology. Not a solid reason. Not even a doctor's report. That is what she said. As she said it, me and this lady, we just looked at each other and we were just like, okay, so health is wealth. So that means because of that, you can disrespect, dishonor, disregard, whatever you can think of, any other person. There was no remorse whatsoever. I tried to explain what that whole scenario, what she did meant, the gravity. She never got it. She just kept on saying health is wealth. She was about to die. She was about to faint. She was about to. So, you know, that kind of person, you can't really get through to that person. So I just let her go. And then you won't believe it. You won't believe it. About 4 years or 3 years after, I rehired her. Now this time around, I fully deserve all that I received from this girl. When I mean fully deserve it, I fully deserve it. Why did I rehire her? So, I was pregnant for my second child and I was coming to the States and I was going to be here for a while. So I had some staff, but I didn't really trust them. I'd given them some time to, you know, mature, start to do some things, have some initiative, be tidy. They were not really getting it. So she reached out to me. She used to reach out to me constantly, even after she left. So one time she randomly reached out to me and I was thinking I needed a manager. I needed somebody to be in charge. I know. So I called her back. I called her back to be a manager. This time around, I moved to a bigger space. I had a staff strength of about 5 stylists. You know, I had a clientele of, those were my booming years, you know, so many clients constantly, and I called her back. So when she came back, I already saw her having friction with my head stylist. My head stylist had been with me for a while. The reason why I didn't make her manager was because I didn't want to put too much responsibility on her. So I wanted, you know, someone to be sharing responsibility with. So in my mind, they're working together, but you know, people don't know how to work together. Like, so many people, educated, non-educated, you know, especially females, we don't know how to work together. It's a shame, but she and this girl were just clashing on every single thing. I was always solving issues, but still, the unfortunate thing about staffing in Nigeria is that where is the pool? You don't know. There is no solid pool to pull from, you know, and so we're really at the mercy of who you meet, who you are able to get. And so that's why there's a lot of salon poaching, meaning that, you know, if you want to open a salon, you go to another salon to poach the staff. I've never done that, never will, never thought that was the right thing to do. So I used to get most of my staff from OLX online. You know, they would advertise themselves as stylists, and then they'll come and they'll just be a whole mess. Anyway, so she came and she was my manager. And soon after she came, I traveled. I laid down structure, you know, in terms of payment remissions, you know, cash, registry, clients, everything. I laid down to the best of my ability, right? 2 weeks into me being in the States, my head stylist is calling me that she suspects that this lady is shortchanging me. She's not recording all of the sales. She's going behind my back to stash money. Just so many different things that I just was like, what is going on? So I would call her and she would just be like, no, you know, denying and everything. I'll say, okay, I want a list of this. So what I did is I started to have 2 different records of our sales, our cash flow, and one from my head stylist, one from my manager. And I think that's because my hairstylist was not wise enough to make that discreet. So I think that just blew everything over the top, because guess what happened? You will not believe what happened. So I'm sitting down in my house. So I don't know where I was in the States, but I think I was definitely in the States, and I get a phone call from a client. Yes. 3 years after. Oh my God, history repeats itself, but this time in a more embarrassing way. So I get a phone call from a client and she's like, your stylists are fighting on the road. I said, what? She said, your stylists are fighting on the road. I was like, what are they fighting about? I'm like, okay, I started trying to reach them. Of course, nobody was reachable. This was a full-on brawl between my head stylist, this manager, some other stylists had joined her. It was just a full-on brawl, and it was physical, and it was a mess, and it was a disgrace, and it was everything that, you know, everything that I could have ever not imagined. So here we are, and I was just so upset. I finally was able to reach like one of the few younger stylists, and she just told me, you know, they got into an argument in front of the client. They just became physical and threatening each other, calling this one a witch, this one a witch, this one a wizard, this one a wizard. And it was just like that. I was just done. I was so upset, but because I had already kind of seen it come, she was the one who I didn't even try to understand what happened, because she had her whole version of things. I immediately dismissed her that very day. I just said, just pack your things and go, and I don't want to ever see you ever again, ever, just go away. So she left, and that was the end of that chapter with her. But I was still upset with my hairstylist, but still I just, you know, I kind of understood. It was just an embarrassment, and I guess that is the end of the story about my manager from wherever she came from. I would say hell, but man, she was a mess. And you know, when she left, I really looked at my books and I compared it with the accounts that my hairstylist was keeping, and I saw that she was actually a fraud. She was dishonest about the funds. She was tweaking numbers. She was going back behind my back to stash money, and all the accusations that, you know, that were put against her were true. So that was it. And yeah, that was the end of that story. So I hope you enjoyed this story time. You know, I just shared it for anybody, maybe if you want to start a business. Staffing is super important. Like, it's so important to get your staffing right, to get the right people in your corner, to be able to, you know, really look at characters and see who you don't need to manage. I have more stories about staffing. I'm going to share even more stories because I've been through it. But yeah, that was the end of today's story about my manager. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more videos. I'm going to be sharing a lot more every Sunday. By the grace of God, I'm going to drop a video, so it could be from anything from this to hair tutorials to stuff about trichology, hair loss, and me being a mom, or all of the fun stuff. So yes, please subscribe, and thank you for watching. Bye.